Ezra chapter 2. Here's one of those apparently boring chapters in the Bible with a whole list of names of the Jews who returned from captivity in Babylon and Persia to Judah. The hand of God, we're told in chapter 1, had stirred up their spirit to return, and had stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, the king of Persia, to say, right, Jews, you can all go back to your land, rebuild your kingdom, and I'll sponsor it and give you what you need. But the majority of Jews remained in Persia. They had been scattered throughout the 127 provinces of Babylon, as the prophets had described. That's what happened. And it's estimated that there were a few million Jews at this time in Persia. But very few of them returned. They'd been told in the prophets, flee Babylon, get out and go back and rebuild my kingdom. Only a very few responded, relatively speaking, and their names and the family names are written here, and you even read how many donkeys they took with them on the journey, and it's in great detail, and it goes on and on. So it's not just droning on and on. This is God showing that for 2,500 years, I remember every one of them who quit Babylon. I know them all by name. Yes, and I wrote them down, and I preserved them in my word all these years as the scrolls were copied out over the generations. God is extremely sensitive to our obedience to his word. You make a decision for him. You quit Babylon in some way or another and go and do God's work. Your name is remembered. Your action is recorded in God's book. That is the point. And so flee Babylon. Don't get complacent in this world. Allow God's Spirit to work in your heart. And if you say yes to that, and he's set the path up for you to return, to do his work, he will remember that. And he will remember you for good in the last day. That is not salvation by works, but that is God being sensitive and keeping a record of all the sacrifices that in fact you do make for the sake of your faith in him and the things of his kingdom and his Son.